Would you like to see the very first page of my very first sketchbook? Well, before I show you, I just want to whiz you back to 2014 when I loved art, I loved painting, I was obsessed with how people made amazing paintings, but my artwork was pretty bad. I felt very embarrassed about what I made. It kind of felt like this secret thing I didn't want anyone to know about or look at or see, because I was like, when I get better, then I can show people, or then I'll feel like an artist. But at this point in time, I would not have called myself an artist at all. When I saw some of the artworks, as I scrolled on Instagram, it was like mesmerizing. These incredible, huge artworks that looked so realistic, yet so kind of abstract and impressionist at the same time. I was just amazed. And I was like, how can people make these incredible artworks? I genuinely thought that you either kind of just are born to be an artist and it comes like naturally, or you're not. And I was one of those people that was not. I don't feel like I had any of that natural talent. I pretty much hated 99% of the things that I made. So anyway, I really became desperate to try and improve my art. I thought, you know what, I'm never going to be as good as these artists, but I'm going to really try to figure it out. What are they doing that I'm not? What do they know that I don't know? And I would end up like zooming into all these Instagram posts to try and find out like some secret. Like, what's the secret to creating these beautiful artworks? One of these secrets was this specific sketchbook, this specific brand that my favorite artist used. And I thought, you know what? Perhaps if I get that sketchbook, that exactly the same one, maybe that will improve my art. And I was very excited. It was a lot of money. And I did. I bought this same sketchbook and there was like equal nerves and excitement. And I sit down ready for my first page. And are you ready to see the very first page of this sketchbook? Okay, ready for it? Boom. Yeah, in case you're wondering, it's completely empty. Do you know why? Because the crippling pressure of it needing to be a perfect first page just became overwhelming. So I skipped that page and then I just painted my palette because I thought, well, what can go wrong with a palette picture, right? I'm not required to be able to draw very well at all for this, so that's fine. And I find that as page by page went on, it was just filled with things that was not my true art. It just became another place, another thing that I was gonna mess up, another thing that I was not gonna be very good at. Now we need to fast forward here about 5 years, because in reality, I had this real fear and anxiety around using sketchbook pages and them needing to look perfect for years. And it wasn't until this one event happened that it changed everything. Luckily, this moment is actually on YouTube. You can go back and watch the original video. But it was this sketchbook right here. And as you can see, yeah, those big black marks in the corner were not intended to be there. They weren't there in the beginning. It was this painting that I was doing in ink, when all of a sudden I knocked over my ink bottle and it went everywhere. Yes, I was definitely upset initially. However, it made me realize that, okay, this sketchbook is kind of ruined, so let's just use up the pages. Like, let's just use the pages so it's not a full waste. And what happened is, as I continued to use a sketchbook, I mean, that page is empty from the ink stains, but as I continued to use the sketchbook, I realized my creative voice, my creative expression, my playfulness, my technique, my colors, my subject matters, everything suddenly loosened up and became much more enjoyable, much more expressive, and it became a real haven for me to dive into, because it was like, well, it's already ruined, so let's just have fun, let's just play. And you know, it's some of these playful sketches that made some of the best paintings that I've done yet. So if you are ready to really let go of that perfectionism for your sketchbook, I would love to invite you to a 14-day sketchbook experience that's going to help you let go of perfectionism, really improve your art skills, and actually use your sketchbook for what it is really intended for. The biggest growth for me as an artist happened when I let go of trying to create a perfect page in a sketchbook or a perfect painting, and actually just use my sketchbook for what it's actually intended for, and that's to practice things like colour studies, values, practice drawing skills, create a plan for the paintings, create colour harmonies and colour palettes. When I started actually using it, focusing on those things, that's when real progress as an artist was made for me, and also I started creating much better paintings that I'm really proud of. So if you would like to learn this process for you, I would love to invite you to kind of like a summer sketchbook challenge. And it's a 14-day experience called Supercharge Your Art. And every day there's 14 daily lessons that are all bite-sized to help you focus on one of the core skills that's really going to make a difference to your artwork. I'm going to pop the link in the description box below if you'd like to join. There is currently a special offer on for like a summer sale to really kind of inspire you and get you started with this. But it doesn't last long. There's only a few days left. So please, if this is something that you really want to do, the best time to jump in is now. And I'm really excited to welcome in new people who are ready to embrace their sketchbooks for what they are made for, and that is to play. So I'll pop the link in the description box. Hope to see you in the class.